Greetings and welcome to NECAT Now, a show where we explore Nashville and Middle Tennessee to tell you all about the great people, places, and events that make Music City so special. I'm your host, Cameron McCasland, coming to you from the NECAT studio right here in Nashville. On today's show, we welcome Haylee Blystone, a children's library associate at the Downtown Library right here in Nashville, where she coordinates programs like Homeschool Friends and Dungeons & Dragons Gaming at NPL. You can see her here on NECAT frequently as a guest on Overdue Adventures, where they play D&D on TV. Welcome, Haylee.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm so excited to be here.
I am too. It's it's always fun to talk to librarians and talk to children's librarians, especially because I think you see so many different types of things happening in that space. Tell me what is your favorite part about being a children's librarian?
Being a children's librarian, I mean, there's a lot of really good stuff. Like, the kids are really cool. Getting to read stories to kids is really cool. But getting to come up with programs and then run the programs is probably the best part. Because we get to come up with the programs on our own. Well,
talk to me a little bit about that, because again, we mentioned Homeschool Friends and things like that. How does something like that come about, where you're like, oh, there's a need for this? How many people are we touching through a program like that?
So with Homeschool Friends, it was already established when I started at NPL, and so I just took over that program because we actually have a pretty large homeschool community here in Nashville. A lot of people don't know that. I think it's really great. So I just kind of was handed that program. But my other program that I do, Dungeons & Dragons for Kids, I started that. We had never had like an RPG kind of program, especially for kids. So I saw that D&D was really coming up. The kids were really looking to try to play it, but they didn't have anyone who could teach them to play it. Yeah. So I just started it.
Why do you think that, Dungeons & Dragons has been around now for 50 years, it feels like at this point, but
maybe more.
What do you think the appeal of that is for people to get into the story of it?
Well, for kids, they like fighting monsters. Yeah. Kids like to pretend that they have these super cool weapons and they get to just fight monsters and run all over the place, and they can fly, and there's dragons. The kids love dragons. But for me, it was kind of like, not an escape, but like a creative outlet. You get to become somebody else. You can be a hero. You can be a bad guy. You can essentially just do whatever you want, but in a really safe space, because you're not like moving or running around, like you're at a table, and it's only as crazy or whatever as you can like imagine it. Yeah.
Can I ask you, how did you find Dungeons & Dragons?
I've been playing Dungeons & Dragons since I was a kid. So I think I really got into it in like middle school, because my younger sister was into it. And so my younger sister taught me, and we've just been playing together ever since.
That's super interesting to kind of see how that comes about. And again, I think it's cool, like, anytime you can take something that you've loved for a long time and bring it into the space where you work and have it inspire other people, that's a super cool, space to be in. Talk to me about some of the other programs that are happening at the Downtown Library right now, though, because obviously, it's like we were just down there for, Wishing Chair last week and saw some things like that. I know there's obviously the things people know, like story times and stuff. But what are some things that people don't know about, or they may have missed if they're not there as frequently as you or I might be?
If you're not there like every day, we do have monthly programs. So we have a therapy dog that comes once a month, and you can read to her. So it helps kids practice their reading and get comfortable reading out loud, but it also helps our young babies and toddler friends get used to seeing like a big dog, because some of them have never seen dogs. So we have a golden retriever that comes in once a month, and it helps kids read and get used to dogs, so it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Now, I know you're a pet lover. You have multiple dogs and cats. Can you walk me through that, their names real quick?
Okay, well, I have 3 dogs. I have Misty, Macy, and Bella. Those are my 3 dogs. And I have, let me just list the cats. I have Rengoku, Rigby, Daichi, Hyde, and Fanta.
Now, is Rigby from regular show?
Yes,
I love that. I know I hear some Twilight in there. I know Twilight's I saw your questionnaire as a favorite book and movie for you. So how did you come to Twilight? Because I know there's a huge fan base for that, obviously.
It came out when I was in middle school. I didn't really have a choice but to love it. Yeah. It was always Team Edward, Team Jacob, and I was like, I don't even know what we're talking about. So I read it, and I'm Team Edward. So.
Right on. You used to have like your posters hung up in your walls and things like that.
Only a couple.
That's dedication, though. It's been a minute. There's been multiple franchises since then and everything, so that's pretty fun.
It's just too good.
Hey, obviously, you probably don't get to, recommend Twilight much to the children and the children's library, but I would imagine as they grow up into teens and whatnot, that's about the perfect age.
Well, little known fact, our department does go up to age 12, and we do allow teenagers, if they are well behaved, to hang out with us. So we can recommend stuff if they choose to talk to us when they come in there.
I love that. Again, it's like, what do you, like right now, is there anything that you've been reading that you would recommend or something that you've really just enjoyed lately?
I've been trying to reread or read for the first time a lot of classic manga. So I just finished all of Inuyasha, and it was way better than I thought it would be. I would recommend that to anybody starting out or super into manga. I definitely recommend that one.
Yeah, 20 plus years ago, I used to work for the Suncoast Motion Picture Company, which was a video store that was like the only place in town where you could get anime and manga for years and years. And I would end up with so much of that stuff because like the distributors would come out like, hey, read this, know about it. And so I got to see a lot of cool stuff back in the day because of that. But real quick, we're going to need to take a quick break. But when we come back, we will hear more from NPL Library Associate Haylee Blystone about the upcoming summer reading program at Nashville Public Library. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Corey Frederick from the Goodlettsville Branch Library. Did you know that you could get a free library card at any Nashville Public Library branch or online at library.nashville.gov?
Hi, I'm Barkley Randall, video media teacher at McGavock High School in Nashville, Tennessee, and you are watching NECAT, Nashville Education Community Arts Television. NECAT is committed to education through television where students like ours can take their first steps to a career in film and TV. To find out more about NECAT, visit them on the web at necatnetwork.org. And to learn more about McGavock High School and our wonderful students, visit us on the web at mcgavock.mnps.org.
Go Raiders!
Hey, welcome back to NECAT Now. If you're just now joining us today, our guest is NPL Library Associate Haylee Blystone, who loves anime and manga and lives with her 3 dogs and 5 cats. She's here to tell us more about NPL's summer reading program, which kicks off June 1st citywide at all NPL branches. Haylee, tell us about summer reading. What is the goal for summer reading this year?
The goal for summer reading is to get people to read. The issue that I wouldn't say it's an issue. The hardest part about summer reading is getting not children to read. A lot of people assume that summer reading is just for kids,
right,
and for like babies and people that are still in school, but we want everyone to know that they can read and get prizes, especially adults.
I feel like in summer it's like the idea of, it's in wintertime, it's real easy to cozy up next to the fire, read a book, eat your hot cocos and all the other fun stuff. But the idea of like putting a book in your bag and going to the park or like the library is maybe 400 people, but it's like you can read from anywhere and everywhere. It's like the goal is just to get some things done. Is there a theme this year?
Our theme this year, we are doing the national theme because it's really cool. It's Color Your World. So we are going to be promoting art and reading. So some of our activities this summer will be based around art and colors. Where the staff are going to be tie-dyeing our staff shirts this year to make it really colorful, get people talking about it.
So that's one of the neat things about this is like there are a lot of different ways to approach summer reading. Obviously, there's for the people who can't get to any of the events, you can still participate and turn your thing at the end of the summer. But for the people that want to really lean into all of the things that NPL is putting together, what are some of the events that are coming up this summer that they can participate in?
At our location, downtown Maine, every Wednesday we will have a special summer event. Like we'll have our summer reading kickoff, and then we will have events every week just to get more people to come to the library so we can talk about summer reading and participating in the events. I believe will count towards it because we have, like last year, we have this little bookmark that has a list of activities and other things that you can do. You complete 10 of them, you get prizes. So you don't just have to read. You can go to your local branch, attend a summer reading program, do these different things, and you can get prizes. Like if the thought of reading all summer is really daunting, then just get out to your library and you can still get prizes.
Yeah, I love that. I know even like just registering, they're giving away a free bag this year. It's kind of how they get started. How do people get registered for this? Because I know you can do it in person or you can do it online.
Yes, you can either go onto our website and go to the summer reading page, and you can click the link and go. It'll lead you right to Beanstack, and if you don't have an account, you can make an account. Or if you just don't even feel like messing with Beanstack, all library staff can sign you up, and we will do all the work for you. I know I really don't mind going on there and signing people up, registering them. I am just really glad that they're doing the program.
I love that. We talked about all the different branches that you kind of come in. I want to real quick read one of our fun facts for our viewers at home. Nashville's first public library was the Howard Library, established in 1898, when the city gave $2,500 for books and other materials. Patrons had to purchase a membership, $2 to use the facility. A few years later, in 1904, the Carnegie Library opened on Polk Avenue after a $50,000 donation from Andrew Carnegie. This allowed all patrons free use of the materials with a library card. Today, the Nashville Public Library offers a free library card to Nashville citizens across all 21 of its branches. And at any one of those 21 branches, they can go sign up for summer reading this year.
All staff is trained, they have the knowledge, and they have the ability, and they want to sign you up.
Absolutely. I know, I'm just kind of looking at some of the things you talked about, the prizes, but it says here, for every 15 days read, you'll earn a coupon for a local business or branch trading card, plus one entry in the grand prize drawing. Do we know what the grand prize is?
Yes, so every year we get these really cool gift cards for $150 to a bookstore. I believe it's Parnassus this year. So the $150 gift card is for Parnassus Books this year, which is very exciting.
I love Parnassus. It's funny, like when it comes to bookstores, I have got to where I don't visit bookstores as often as I used to, because I feel like working in the library, you have access to free books all the time. It's like it's the great joy of but I still like to be surrounded by books. You know what I mean? It's like I still buy books and read books and all that, but it definitely saved me a lot of money when I was like, oh, I don't have to buy these. I can just check it out, read it, and then return it, which is again, the great joy of the library.
Which is the best thing. I use the library now as like a kind of pre-screener. It's like if I read the book and I really like it, then I'll go buy the book. So the library is also really good for that.
Get the fancier version that you put on the shelf for all time's sake and everything. That's a great idea. Again, talking about the grand prize drawings, you got that $150 local gift card, but there's a lot of other prizes that you can get through this. You want to walk us through a couple of those?
So some of the prizes, mostly we get donations from local businesses, like sometimes free cookies or sandwiches. This year we're doing something a little different, where we've partnered with Belmont, and we have some local artists. Some of their students are designing art for our trading cards. So people can get one-of-a-kind art and collect. Each branch will have their own trading card and their own specific art.
That's very cool.
Very exciting.
Yeah, I love that. Well, once more, we're going to take a quick break right here on NECAT Now, but stay with us to find out more about NPL's summer reading program and all the other great things happening at Nashville Public Library. We'll be right back.
Do you dream of opening your own business?
Do you have a side hustle that you want to take to the next level?
What if I told you that your local library has free resources to get you started?
Because at Nashville Public Library, we mean business.
What is NPL Means Business? It's an initiative that seeks to create a more diverse and motivated entrepreneurial ecosystem in Nashville, with the library being an essential player in helping Nashville citizens discover and realize their dream business.
So what do? We offer classes, book discussion clubs, print resources, business-related databases, as well as a book librarian service, which allows entrepreneurs to make appointments with staff who can direct them to the resources they need. Classes and programs are delivered through Nashville Public Library, as well as in conjunction with community partners, including the Small Business Association.
To find out more, visit your local library location or go to library.nashville.org.
Welcome back once again to NECAT Now. I'm your host, Cameron McCasland, in conversation with Haylee Blystone, Library Associate at the Downtown Library right here in Nashville. So Haylee, we've been talking about summer reading. Obviously, cool program for everybody that's in the city. I know this has been going on for years and years at this point. And like you said, it's not just for kids that are getting out of school that we're trying to get to read, but it's trying to get the entire city to join together and do that. Are there any books that you're looking forward to yourself that you may have been saving for summer reading?
I'm always reading. I like to set a really high goal for myself on Goodreads because I don't use any other sites. Not that I'm trying to plug Goodreads, but
Right.
so I always set like a goal of like 500 books. So I'm just reading any and everything.
Wow, that's a lot. I mean, 500 is a lot of books.
I usually exceed that
That's awesome.
I read a lot of manga. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'll do it. Like again, I remember when I was young, junior high school. That was like my approach whenever they would do like the programs where it's just like, oh, read as many books and you'll get a free pizza or whatever it may have been. And I remember there was a series called Duncan Amos that I used to read frequently because they were like, I could read it all in a day. And they were like probably, I would guess, around 100 pages, and I would knock them out. Yeah, so just knock them out. And I think R.L. Stine actually was the author of that series, but like I don't know if that's pre or post Goosebumps in the.
I'm not super familiar with him.
Yeah.
I'm a scaredy cat.
Yeah,
so.
well, there you go. I Goosebumps came a little bit late for me. I did read some of that when I was a kid, but like it was one of those things where like I was a little bit too old at that point. Whenever those started to really hit, that it felt weird, jumping in on that. But yeah, well, I want to talk a little bit about some of these activities when it comes to summer reading, because you mentioned before, like if it's daunting to think about having to read all summer, there's stuff like visited a branch or attend an NPL program, but there's a lot of other like cool suggestions on here as far as like read an award-winning book or check out something that's not on book or DVD. Like what is some of the things that they might could check out that's not on DVD? You talked about the art cards we were getting, but I know for me, it's like the art lending program is huge.
We have the art lending.
Yeah.
There's also the Library of Things. So if you don't want to check out a book, you can check out a guitar or a banjo. We have bongos, which is really cool. So you could get music stuff. You can get art. You can also get. I think there's weather tools. You could get a barometer.
Yeah.
You can get cookie sheets.
Yeah,
So-
great time of year to like check all of the things in your house to make sure like your radon's okay and your like all those other those fun things that the library things. That is such a cool program because like we were making a documentary at the time whenever that kind of launched, and we were kind of going through all the stuff, and like just the idea of like having a conversation with Noelle here at the library, who kind of is the one who's in charge of purchasing all that, to kind of see what it was and have that conversation about like what do we take and what stays, and there's always like, well, the maintenance is part of it. Does it need parts in the future? And like, and it's so fascinating, the people that put the thought process into that kind of thing. But I also think about like board games and like.
Board games. We have a really, really good board game collection. One of my friends, Chase, is actually the one who runs it, and he does a really good job curating and pulling all the best, most popular games. So you could check out a game that counts for it. We also have board games in the children's department. It's kind of a new thing, so you can't check them out. But I think we could make an exception if you stay there and play, though.
Right. So when it comes to board games, that's not D&D exactly, but like, do you have a favorite board game that's kind of beside Dungeons and Dragons? Like, if you enjoy this, you might enjoy that.
My favorite board game is Munchkin, which is. A lot of D&D people like it because you go into a dungeon and you fight monsters and you have to collect cards to make your character all big and buff. So
yeah, funny enough, the people that introduced me to Munchkin were D&D players, and this was like 20 years ago.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and it was just like, and I haven't played it in a while, but I enjoyed that thoroughly. That was a game that I don't know, it made sense in my brain for sure. Again, it's like going back to this activities. There's all of this stuff, like talking about reading a new genre, talking about asking a friend or a librarian to recommend your next book. I think that's the other part too. It's like using your librarians, like to find someone that is, it's like may not have your taste, but they have good taste in themselves, and you may learn something about yourself by getting information from somebody else. Again, it's like how many books do you think you recommend in a given week?
Ooh, that's tough, because there are some days where a kid will come up and just ask you like 20 questions in a row, like what would you recommend for this, or what would you recommend for this? And then there will be some days where we don't have anybody coming in because the kids know exactly where they're going. So I'm on the desk at least 2 hours every day. So I'd say probably like 50 times a week, at least. Especially during the summer, I would probably triple that.
Yeah, that's wild. Well, I know, like with summer reading, there obviously will be a lot of people in the building because they're not at school. So you got kids that are showing up, downtown at Maine, or downtown as we call it. But like with that, it's like, is there any is there any goal for you to be like, oh, I'm going to get these kids to read that may not have ever taken that path? And like, what's that first book you might recommend to someone? Like if they're not like an avid reader, but they want to get involved and be like, hey, I want to participate in what way? What's something you would recommend right now?
If they're not an avid reader, I usually go graphic novel because kids have an easier time reading stuff with pictures, but with graphic novels, there's still a lot of words. And so I would recommend maybe Wings of Fire. That's a really popular graphic novel series because it has dragons.
I love that. Well, once more, we're going to need to take a short break, but we'll be right back with more from Haylee Blystone and NPL Summer Reading right here on NECAT Now. Stay with us.
Television has changed since we first hit the airwaves back in 1978. From tiny static-filled screens with rabbit ears coming out on top and 19 cable channels to choose from, to giant high-definition displays with seemingly endless choices to watch on demand. In that same time, we've seen our city grow from the quaint home of country music to a shining metropolis offering the very best in entertainment, technology, and education. While Nashville, like our viewing habits, has changed, NECAT's mission remains. Expose Middle Tennessee viewers to the best there is to offer from television made locally in Nashville and around the world. To teach individuals and organizations who wish to make film and TV shows how to do so in our studio, using the resources and state-of-the-art equipment to create and broadcast to the public watching at home. A unique place founded on free speech with access for the public. A commercial-free space where imagination triumphs and creativity blossoms through diversity, equity, and inclusion. A dream factory where people can find community and develop the skills needed to have their unique voices heard. From humble beginnings, the spotlight continues to grow brighter. Step into it with us. Nashville Education Community Arts Television. NECAT, powered by Nashville Public Library.
Welcome back to NECAT Now. Today we've been learning about NPL Summer Reading Program with Haylee Blystone. Haylee, you were talking about recommending graphic novels to people on the last segment. That really is kind of where I feel like I learned to read, or like I guess not where I learned to read, but where I learned to love reading, because I had a teacher at the time. It was kind of, I don't think that the thought process was the same as it is now, but they were like, oh, this kid loves comic books. Let him read comic books because at least it's something. Mm-hmm. And so I tell people all the time that Stan Lee taught me how to read because like I just ate up Spider-Man comic books like crazy. And it did help me like, I guess, become a voracious reader that at a certain point it was like, okay, it's not that I still love Spider-Man, but like it's like, but like you start leaning into other things, and that turns into like, oh, I can read something without pictures, and like, and I can listen to audiobooks, and I can, like, take it all these different ways. And I know that's something you want to talk about a little bit too, because like it's not just about like your regular just books and paper, but there's a lot of different ways to approach a book. Talk to me a little bit about that when it comes to the summer reading program and just books in general.
So with summer reading, I think a lot of people think that you have to physically get a book and have it in front of you and read it, and that's not the case. Not everybody reads the same way. Not everybody consumes the written word in the same way.
Right.
And I think that it's really important to know that some people don't even really like to read. They just want to listen to it. And audiobooks do count towards summer reading. You're still reading a book. Listening to a book is still reading a book. And it's the same if you read a book to somebody. Like if you have a kid and you're reading a book to your daughter, both of you would get to count for summer reading because she's listening to it and you're the one that's reading. So there are lots of different ways to approach summer reading. You don't have to physically read the book.
Yeah, and I would say that an audiobook a lot of times can be a better read than doing it yourself. I'll give you an example of like I read Tina Fey's book. I don't know how many years ago this was, but like I read the book, like I picked up a copy and read it, and I thought, this is really funny. She's smart and brilliant and great writer and all this stuff. And then like, I don't remember how much longer when the audiobook came out, I got a copy for the car just to listen to, and she reads the book herself.
Oh,
and so
cool.
It's just like the idea of like hearing it in her voice where she's able to like emphasize the things that she would, versus what I would, made it a better read for me the second time around than the first. And even going back to the idea of like, talking about Spider-Man, like I remember when that first Spider-Man movie came out and I was just like, oh, I like this movie, but like that's not what Spider-Man sounds like. And someone said, well, what do you mean? Like, he sounds like he's from New York. And I go, yeah, but in my head, he always sounded like me. You know what I mean? It's like, so he's got like this, Spider-Man always had an East Texas drawl as far as I was concerned when I was a kid. And so it's like, you have to get used to that kind of, that switchover where it's like, if you have the audiobook, it's kind of all, laid out there for you. I think that's super interesting. And again, in addition to that, like I know NPL, like you can go get a physical book on site, you can pick up audiobooks on site, but there's a lot of ways to listen to it digital through telephone services and internet-based things. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yes. So if you have a library card, and if you are in our county, or if you're a non-resident and you pay $10 a year, you have access to our digital collection. So you can download apps like Libby or Hoopla, and you can access ebooks and audiobooks on there. So if you don't have a CD player, or you don't want to tote around the little MP3 player, you can just listen to it from your phone or on your computer.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting. And you mentioned a library card. I want to give you the opportunity. It's like, if you don't have a library card, how do you get a library card in this town?
How do you get a library card? So there are a couple different ways you can do it. If you do your homework and you go on the website first, you can go ahead and fill out the form, and then you just show up with your ID or proof of residency, and then they will just give you your card. Or you can go into any of our 21 locations and you just talk to someone and say, how do I get a library card? And they will direct you either to a QR code, or I think some branches are still old school and they have the paper form. Fill all that out, verify yourself, and then you have a library card.
Yeah, and again, it's like the stuff that a library card opens you up to. It really is amazing because, again, it's like, I think there's, people just think about like books. I mean, that's when you think about the library, you think, oh, it's just a book, but you really can, like,
you can get anything.
Yeah, it's like you can stream movies, you can, like, library things, you can come get all that. You can use the seed exchange to come grab stuff and plant things in your garden. I mean, like, it's endless,
so cool.
The amount of things that are there for people to pick up and use. Super fascinating, to me anyways.
I hope to everybody, because we don't just have all that stuff that you listed. There's even more than that. Like, we have passes to different museums.
Yeah.
I think we still have the bicycle thing. So you can get a bike with your library card, and you could go to, which museum is it? Is it the African American?
The African American Music Museum is there.
And the Country Music Hall of
Fame is on there. I think
Cheekwood?
Cheekwood's on there.
Cheekwood's on there.
Madame Tussauds was on there for a while. I don't know if we're still doing that one right now, but
I'm not sure. But I know we usually get coupons from summer reading. So if you feel very strongly about it, you can do summer reading and get a coupon for that.
That's awesome. I mean, again, so many opportunities. Okay, Haylee. So one last time, I want to give people an opportunity if they want to register for this. Where do they find it?
So the easiest thing to do is to just go onto our website, which is library.nashville.gov, find the summer reading page, which there should be like a big, bold artwork right in the middle of the landing page. You should click that, and it will direct you to Bean Stack.
And if they want to come see you in person, where can they find you daily?
If you want to see me, come downtown to the main library. I'm in the children's department pretty much every day. I
love it. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I've had a really good time having this conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This has been great.
I love it. Well, that's about all the time we have today for NECAT Now. I hope you enjoyed exploring Nashville with us. To find out more about our show or how you can start your very own television show right here in Nashville at Nashville Education Community Arts Television, visit us on the web at necatnetwork.org. Until next time, I'm Cameron McCasland, signing off from NECAT Now from beautiful Music City, USA, Nashville, Tennessee. See you next time.